Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to it. Welcome to trading supply and demand in Forex, using spread analysis to find the right zones, right? All right, so before we go ahead, guys, there's something that I just need to get out of, or get off my chest, rather. So, guys, please understand this. I don't own the rights to, the Price Action Ninja books, and I don't own Price Action Ninja. I'm only an affiliate to Price Action Ninja, right? Just like anybody else, I went and I bought the books. I read them, I studied them, and to this day I continue to use them, including the resources that they have on the website. On a daily basis, I log on to their website, right? And I became an affiliate because I found a lot of value in the content that's on Price Action Ninja's website, as well as the ebooks themselves. And I figured that I could offer these to most of you guys that follow me, because I trade supply and demand, and Price Action Ninja also goes deeper into supply and demand, right? But the real reason, rather, I'm offering these to you guys is because of the price action aspect of trading supply and demand, or trading anything for that matter, right? Which Price Action Ninja actually does well. They do a very good job in explaining price action. So I figured I could go ahead and offer these to the guys that actually need them, that follow me and that trade the same way that I do, or want to trade the same way that I do. I found value in these books, and I genuinely believe that you will too, and it will change the way that you trade, right? So if look, guys, if it's not for you, please then don't buy the books. But for those who need them, as usual, the link is in the description. The price is still discounted at 97.99. Normal price is 147. I'll tell you how this actually came about. Somebody actually said to me, you know what, I really really want the books, but I cannot afford the 147. And I understood. So I got a reduction to 97.99 through my link, exclusively through my link. So follow that link to qualify for that 97.99 price. Again, guys, I'm only an affiliate. I don't own Price Action, and I don't own the rights to all of, or to any of their material, rather. All right, so I just needed to get that out the way. All right, guys, so let's jump in. So what do I mean? What do I mean spread analysis? Okay, guys, so a lot of you guys, let me just give you a background. A lot of you guys, I posted a trade setup on Facebook, and a lot of you guys were like, oh, but we were looking at the same zone, but a lot of you guys were like, my order wasn't filled. Why is it that your order, your zone looks different to mine? And I promised to make a video on that. So here it is. This is why I draw the zone the way that I draw it. And to be exact, guys, there's only one zone that I draw differently. All the other zones, the gaps and everything else stays the same. It's just only this one zone that I draw differently. And the reason I draw it differently is because I used to trade volume spread analysis, or I used to follow volume spread analysis back in the day, right? And I studied it. I look, guys, I studied it so hard that whenever I look at my charts, yes, sometimes I'd forget because I've focused wholly on supply and demand. But whenever I look at the charts, the first thing that comes into my mind is volume spread analysis. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I applied volume spread analysis to this particular zone here. And then I tested it. I went back. The reason I tested it is because I went back on the charts. Actually, not really. I went back. I realized, that I was missing a lot of trades back then. This was before that particular setup that I posted on Facebook. I I realized that I was missing trades, not really missing trades, but price was not filling my orders at specific zones. Sorry about that, guys. But price was not filling my orders at specific zones, right? And when I went back and I looked at my history, and I started to realize a pattern. I started to realize that there's a specific zone that price normally comes close to and never fills my order, and it leaves without me, essentially. So I started back testing it, and I wanted to find out what is the cause for price not to go back there, or if in fact I was drawing my zone incorrectly. And I found the answer when I went back to volume spread analysis. And that's really what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you why I draw the zone in this way. And look, you can follow the way that I draw it, is completely up to you. You don't have to know why I draw it this way, but I'm going to explain anyway. All right. So, all right. So this is a screenshot that I actually took. Now I just want to go back to my blackboard. Okay, so no blackboard. So I'll use a black marker, I suppose, for this. Before I do that, let me just go into the charts real quick. Let me show you the zone that I'm actually talking about, guys. The zone that I'm actually talking about, it's not the exact same one because I forgot which pair it was that I took the particular trade, but it looks exactly like this one here, only that it was demand and not supply, right? So conventional supply and demand dictates that we draw our zone something like this, right? And if I scroll to the right, you can clearly see that price actually came very, very close, came very, very close to picking up the order, but it never did, and she fell off, right? How I draw my zone is I would draw it based on this particular candle here, this bullish candle here. I draw it based on this zone here, right? And if I scroll to the right, you can clearly see that the zone was respected. Price came back, picked up my order. Not only that, it gapped out of that zone, which is good. It gapped out of that zone, and therefore, Bob's your uncle. Price declines. And this is how I got filled, and everybody else was never filled, or their orders were never filled, right? Now, why did I draw it like this? Why did I draw it like this as opposed to, following the normal procedure of drawing it where, the origin, or following the origin of, the move itself? Now, let's backtrack real quick. Now, like I said, I found the answer from volume spread analysis, right? So to those who don't know, volume spread analysis attempts to teach traders the relationship between volume and, candle sizes. Spread basically means candle sizes, but what spread really means is, or what spread really attempts to teach traders as well is, the relation, not really the relationship between volume and the candle itself, like I said, as well as the importance of the open, high, low, and close of the candle. Not only that, progress that is being made, how to identify progress being made by either the bulls or the bears, or supply and demand. You know what I mean? So really the answer for me came, that last bit, progress by the bulls or the bears. That's where the answer really came in for me, right? So now let's go back to the screenshot here real quick. Oh, and there's the title and the thumbnail. But so this is, remember guys, I showed you that this is the zone that I drew my zone from, right? This is the zone that we were all concentrating on, where everybody was drawing the zone like this. I drew mine like this. Now let me explain why I drew it like this. Remember what I mentioned about progress, right? Candles making progress, showing us the progress that is being made either by the bulls or the bears, right? If I grab your attention to this move up, we can clearly see that, this candle here closed higher than the open of this candle here. Oh, again, very important. Volume spread analysis also, what it does is it makes you analyze the candle that you're at, or the session that you're in, versus the previous candle, right? And that's how you actually tell the progress of either one of the sides, right? Now let's get back to it once again. So this candle here, this big candle here, actually this candle here right after the big candle there. Now this candle here shows progress by the bulls. Why it shows progress by the bulls is because it opens at the close of the previous candle, and it closes above, the open, the open or the close of the previous candle. You know what I mean? So it's progress. So one candle does this, closes right up there, and the other one takes over and it closes all the way up there, and the other one takes over and closes all the way up there. This is progress by the bulls, right? Particularly in this area here. So this is progress by the bulls here, because one candle closes above the other, and so it goes, right? And like I said, this is where I found the answer to drawing my zone like this. Now that you know that progress is being made by one candle closing above the other in the event of, or in the case of an uptrend, and one candle closing below the open of the other, or the close of the other in relation, or rather, this speaks to the downtrend, right? Now that you know that, right, when you look at what's going on here, what can you tell off the bat? What's going on here. Let me pull out my ruler real quick. What's going on here? What can you tell about that? Right? Here's what volume spread analysis attempts to teach. Well, teachers. Right? And now that I've done this, I hope each and every one of you guys understand this. Now, when we look at this first bearish candle to the downside in relation to this blue candle here, we can clearly see that that candle is making no progress at all. The reason for, well, why I say that is because it didn't take the high of this candle or the close of this candle, and it didn't take the the open of this candle here. So meaning this candle here could only mean two things, right? This candle is making no progress at all, and again, it is an absorption candle, right? What I mean by that is it's absorbing all of the buys that are coming or all of the buys that are coming in from this uptrend here. So it's absorbing all of the buys that are coming in. It's absorbing all of the buys coming in, but it's not finding it easy to continue on its way down, therefore not making any progress, right? The reason it's this small is because, right, it's absorbing all of the buys that are coming in, and again, it's a no progress candle because it's not taking the high of the previous candle, nor is it taking the low of the next candle, right? Then the next session comes up. Yes, it takes the low of this particular candle, which means progress. But really, what we should be looking at is this big blue candle here, right? It too is not taking the high of that candle, nor is it taking the low of that candle. So really what these candles signify is that no progress is being made by the bears or the bulls, right? Yes, though, what these candles would have told us is that selling or supply is coming into the markets, but there's no way for us to confirm that to be true until something like this candle happens here, this big candle that breaks the low or the open of this particular bullish candle there. And this is the only candle that shows us progress by the bulls, you know what I mean, because it takes the previous low. Now let me explain. Let me show you the easiest way to understand this concept here. Taking a look at an engulfing pattern, right? So say this is an engulfing pattern. An engulfing pattern, what it does is it does two things, right? An engulfing candle rather does two things. Suppose this was a downtrend. It does two things. It absorbs all of the cells that are coming in, and not only that, it shows us progress by the bulls to the upside. Do you all understand that? It's showing us progress by the bulls because it took the open of the last candle that came before it, right? In the opposite direction, right? So what I'm actually trying to say is, here, had this red candle not been here, and instead was a bullish candle, then we would have still been going, all right, the bulls are still making progress to the upside, or demand is still making progress to the upside. You all understand? So really what we should be doing is, when we see a swing that looks something like that, we should not be drawing our zones based on these two candles here, because they are really not making any progress and they're only absorbing the buys that are coming into the markets. And the only way that we can confirm that they are, that the bears are actually making progress and they're coming into the markets and absorbing all of these buys is when this big candle breaks the low of that bullish candle to the upside. I hope you all understand what I'm trying to say. So that is the reason why I draw my zone just like this here. And you will notice, right? I'm not going to go through the charts here. I would say you guys go through the charts and take a look at the swings, right? You will find a lot of zones that actually look like this. Right? And more often than not, when price comes back to retest that zone, if you're drawn it the conventional way, your order never gets filled. Sometimes it will get filled, but most of the time it will never get filled, right? And again, another thing that most people I think might not know is that when you look at a higher time frame, say at this zone here, what you will find more often is that is an engulfing pattern. And you see that? that zone is really an engulfing pattern at a higher time frame. Almost all the time when this happens, it's an engulfing at the other time frame or at the bigger time frame. Now let's see, take a look at this one here. Can you see that? The only progress candle, or the only candle that made progress to the downside, is this breakaway candle here, thanks to the gap as well, is this candle here. But all these 1, 2, 3, 4 are literally not making any progress whatsoever. Never mind the wicks, look at the bodies, right? The bodies are not making any progress at all because they failed to close below the low of this bullish candle to the upside. So let's go over to the monthly chart and let's see if this is an engulfing pattern as well. Let's see. Well, not an engulfing pattern, but you can clearly see what I'm actually trying to point out to you guys, right? Never mind the fact that when you go over to a bigger time frame, it's an engulfing. It happens most of the time, right? But in this case, it didn't happen when you look at the monthly chart. Lo and behold. But anyway, so that's why I draw this particular zone the way that I draw it, right? I draw it because I want to see, price make progress. For instance, this zone here, a lot of people, just one last example, a lot of people would draw their supply. Actually, let me use these horizontal lines here. A lot of people would draw their supply zone like this, right? Based on the fact that, okay, never mind what happened to the left, right? Because there's a lot of zones on the left. And I see one zone that, this is really testing. But anyway, for the purpose of the exercise, a lot of people will draw their zone based on, this little candle here and say, all of these 1, 2, 3, 4 candles are all going sideways. They're not really. From this big blue candle up there, down there, that's the real sideways movement right here, based on this big blue bullish candle. Now we all know distal line goes above the wicks, and proximal line goes at the body of this particular candle here. And that is the reason why I draw the zone the way that I draw it. Now remember, when I draw it on the daily chart, yes, you could be going, oh, but this is a big fat ass zone. What is it, 84 pips? Remember, when you go over to the hourly chart, that's where we're going to be refining our entries, or we're going to be minimizing our risk at the lower time frame. So you don't have to worry about how big the zone is when it comes to the daily chart, right? Again, guys, this one, you wouldn't draw it like that, because to the left, there's a zone right there to the left. And that's testing that. So see that? That was just for an example purposes. Anyway, guys, that's it. I hope you all understand what it is that I'm talking about right now. If you don't, leave comments. If you like this video, like the video. Yeah, the likes help, guys. So please leave as many likes as you want. Comments, leave your comments if you don't understand anything, and I'll try to make another video kind of explaining it much more better. You all know me, guys. I just say things as they come off the top of my head, and that's just about it. Other than that, guys, thanks once again. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for your subscriptions. Keep them coming. They're really, really helping. Yeah, and look out for Behind the Trade, which we'll be uploading soon. And thanks once again, guys. Adios.